Hello, everyone, and welcome on in. Andy Petrillo, Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson. We continue our preview of the 2025 Canadian Premier League, and we do have to focus on a team that are perennial contenders, gentlemen. And of course, I'm talking about Forge. They were the regular season champions last season, ended up losing in the final to Cavalry, as we know. But they are, you can't count them out. Let's put it that way, right? So, what's the biggest storyline for Forge FC heading into the 2025 season, Wheels?
It's kind of a case of how good will they be. I don't think there's any question with this coaching staff, with these players. They're going to be right in contention again this time around. And I think that their successes or lack thereof this season, of just how far they can go, will rely upon the players that they brought in. The fact that last season, after Kwesi Poku left, they simply didn't have any production from the number 9 position. They brought in 2 really talented, proven attacking players into their team this year in Mo Babuli, back in Hamilton, and Brian Wright, formerly of York, to lead the line. My biggest question is, which Brian Wright will we see this season? The player who over the first 3 or 4 months was one of the best players in all the Canadian Premier League, scoring goals at will? Or will it be the player who struggled down the stretch and the season before only scored 2 goals over the course of the season? They need production at the number 9 position. It's the reason why they couldn't push Cavalry in the end for the North Star Cup. I think that will determine how far this team can go in multiple competitions.
A lot to like about this new Forge side. They've definitely added to the arsenal. Nimick in the back, Rama returned home. Jabrapur was looking like he was going to leave and found himself right back to the place where he has a lot of success. Brian Wright, Mo Babuli. But Wheels is right. You can't ignore the fact of it seems that Forge's success or decline really lies on the shoulders of their attackers. And one in specific is Brian Wright with the 9 goals and 5 assists that he had the previous season with York United. I mean, he has to be a double digits player. If he is that, they're a team to be reckoned with, and they'll probably be playing in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
I just feel like, they're there. They keep adding. Even if they lose, they add. Bobby Smirniotis once again back at the helm, and we know that he can bring out the best in his players. But you've mentioned some of those additions. But who do you think is the most important addition, Wheels, to Forge's repertoire?
Well, we mentioned Brian Wright, but let's go to the back line because there's potentially 3 new starters amongst the 4 men at the back. And Dan Nimick, I mean, all eyes are going to be on Nimick to see what sort of performances he puts together for this upcoming season. Scored a lot of goals, a lot of them from the penalty spot, but at times his defensive play took a step back. Now he's going into a very well-structured team in Forge, playing alongside an Alexander Ashinodi Janssen. The right back, Rezat Rama, should really help things as well. He's come back and looks to even be a better version of when he was in his first go around with Forge. But I think Dan Nimick, just because so many people are so high on what this defender may be or what he can be, and let's see if he realizes and is able to take his game to the next level joining Forge.
A player I'm looking to watch, I know he's not new, but for me is just an unsung hero, Noah Jensen. This is a big year for a midfielder to really step up and state their claim and show what they can do. So I'm excited for this season for Forge because this is a big one, Andy and Wheels. They got to make sure that they're still the top dog. And for me, it has to be either winning the North Star Cup or even a double. You have to have a championship for Forge this season.
And the old band's still there. Ashinodi Janssen, Becker, Jabrapur, Chouanier, Borget, they still have that core. So how those new players fit in is going to determine just how good they can be.
Yep, the addition, I like how you also just mentioned too, is already there, Jordo. That's what I mean. That's why you can never count Forge out. They are perennial contenders. And we always get a juicy first game with them as well to kick off the season. They will be taking on the team that they lost to in that Cup final, Cavalry FC, as the 2025 CPL season begins on April 5th right here on One Soccer.